our next congressman.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all being here. I hope I'm going to be your next congressman, and I hope I am. I don't disappoint you. I appreciate everybody's support for being out here today and tonight, listening to me ramble on. It means more to me than every night, really does. I'm Jim Umberger, as you know, and I'm running to be your representative in Congress. I was born in West Virginia, actually in Charleston, Kanawha County. And raised, that is, I was drafted in the Army when I was 19. Shortly after that, I did a lot of my growing up. It was a little bit of an adjustment for a boy from the suburbs to get to Vietnam and the jungle, but survived that. Before I was drafted, I was involved in the civil rights movement down in Kanawha County. Some of y'all might be West Virginia, Kanawha County. You might remember when urban renewal decided to take the area known as the Triangle District, Charleston, shopping malls and such. And that was probably a good idea. The only problem was where the people would live after they tore down their houses. And there wasn't any place for them to live, and ended up having to scatter very vibrant, strong, African American community, the black community in Kanawha County, became sort of disassembled because of urban renewal. And then they built our water plant, and they built the water plant where it was downstream from sources of pollution. And so again, that wasn't too bright an idea if I could drink water in Charleston, which then they ended up having to pay for that bad idea when they had the leakage from the tanks in the Kanawha Valley, and they destroyed the water there. And my opponent, Carol Miller, when that happened, one thing she really did, she went out and she voted, and she wrote a law and then helped get it into action, that they would not be able to sue the people that had the containment vessel that leaked and caused the water problem in the Kanawha County. So her first instinct, when anything happens, is to see what she can do to help support her corporate overlords and ignore the plight of workers or citizens that are affected by her behavior. And she did that the same thing with the coal miners, and the individuals now have black lung and silicosis. And that's instead of getting better, that problem's getting worse, because the mines are having to dig in deeper and through more rock to get to the coal, and the rock is giving the miners silicosis and black lung both. And so now, and these folks having trouble getting compensation for their disabilities. And again, Carol's idea was, let's call that socialism. Let's not have the severance on coal pay for these disabilities. Let's just let taxpayers do that if they want to, but we won't get that money from coal and from my buddies in the coal industry. And so again, Carol's choice was to support mine owners, not miners. And then there's not a war on coal in West Virginia. Nobody run for office who's going to try to do that. But, there is a war on workers, and it's an old war. The Kanawha Valley was full of chemical plants, and some of those plants were really pretty good about employee safety, but some of them weren't so good. And there's very little regulation and less all the time. So that's an issue, and it's an issue to also when you think about the cost of healthcare. And when you've got people getting sick from the air that they breathe, and I hear now in Charleston that they're looking at attacking the whole environmental movement and wanting to make it so that if you're a home resident or a person that lives in a community and you're mad to take air samples, those air samples can't be used as evidence as to the air quality. So, again, who's going to benefit from that? It's the people doing the polluting, not the people that are being polluted. So anyhow, that's kind of my, and as I said, I was in the civil rights movement before I moved here. There was when they were doing the tearing down of the homes in what's called the Triangle District, actually. I was there, and I sat at the table when I was a young guy, I think I was 19 at the time, with Ralph Abernathy and Jesse Jackson and a bunch of other people. I remember those guys because they were famous. And I was 19, so I was pretty impressed by that. Me and my buddy, David Moorhead, we were both down there, young guys, just trying to do what was right. I went out and tried to raise money to feed people because we had like a tent city there. A bunch of the homes had been tore down, and we were trying to get, food, and so forth, to support those people. But, as I said, I was drafted, and when I was drafted, my first instinct was, well, I'll just go to Canada. And then I started thinking about that, and I had a job offer in Canada. My friend Dave Hill, his wife was Canadian, and her dad ran the telephone company in Ontario. And so I had a pretty decent job offer in Canada. I mean, they'd let me live in their house and give me a job, right? My dad's going to send me money every month. He didn't want to see me get shot either. And I thought to myself, well, hell, if somebody else is going to do my dying for me. And I couldn't talk myself into thinking that was okay. And I became disillusioned with some of my friends that I'd made in Charleston that were maybe forming me politically. And I just wasn't sure what was going on. And I thought, well, I'll go find out for myself. And, take my chances with people shooting at me. And if I get back, that'll be okay. Maybe I'll learn something. Well, I did go, and I didn't think I was going to get killed, so I didn't worry too much while I was there, because I was pretty convinced, like I said, I was going to get shot. But I wasn't. I was very lucky. I didn't even get more than grazed, I got maybe shrapnel metal, a couple of explosions, but nothing that more scratch me. I never even applied for a Purple Heart, but I didn't really think you needed one for a scratch. People get actually shot, deserve those. The number of people gone for being scratched, I'll guarantee you that. Most of them are back in the rear somewhere, manning the Remington typewriter, and that's okay. They did their part too, and everybody did their part. But I joined a reconnaissance unit called Tiger Force, and it has a mixed history. But when I was there, we were in the northern part of South Vietnam, what called I-Corps, and I was on the Laotian border pretty much the whole time. There was nobody there to shoot except North Vietnamese and Chinese soldiers, and so I didn't have to worry, thankfully, about civilians or anything like that. And mostly, I just enjoyed being in the jungle, except when people were shooting at me. It's very nice when I get shot at, by the way. It's a little warm though, and I think Vietnam's a great place to go and visit. Sarah and I went there, spent a month, and with cold beer and air conditioning, it's a great place. I'd go back anytime. The people were very friendly. They were nice. They were happy, and young kids wanting to practice their English with us. And I've never seen a bigger bunch of capitalists than what there are in Vietnam. Everybody has two jobs. They live on about $30 a month, and plus whatever their second job brings them. But it was a great experience, and I was happy to go back. Some of my friends, though, they were convinced I was going to get killed, and they'd tell me, be careful, and don't watch out, and all that. And shoot, we walked all over the place and didn't have anybody trying to hurt us. And there's no crime. I mean, no prostitution, no drugs. It's a clean society. I know they've got their problems, but it seems like they're pointing in the right direction now. Anyhow, I'm here to answer another call, I think, call that you can try to run for office and try to not really try to be elected and to help try to straighten out things in Washington. It's a mess. I've got 4 grandchildren now, and I don't want them to inherit the world they're aiming at right now. We've got horrible problems, and we've got people that would rather fight for themselves over issues that, the cultural warriors, I guess, what you have to call them. They want to fight about things that there's no answer to, and then try to take away people's rights. And that seems to be more important than trying to govern and trying to build a just, fair society. And if we're going to have justice in this country, we need to work together to do that. Republicans, and Democrats, and Independents, and people that couldn't care for any of us. We all need to work together to try to do something and be successful. I guess in short, I just want to say I want to use the skills maybe I learned in mental health workers and skills I learned in leadership when I was in the Army to help people in West Virginia, to do something to help get everybody pointed in the right direction. I've got plans about how to get young people involved in my campaign. I've got plans to how to get the workers and the miners in particular, and veterans lined up behind me. And if I can get, and I think that on my way to doing that, I was in Princeton on Tuesday of last week. I met with the guys at the VVA. 100 of them showed up there to listen to me and talk with me. And I think I've got them behind me. And then I'm just going to march across the coal fields trying to get some initiative in these folks to take a look at what's going on and try to work to make their communities better. A lot of them pretty much given up. It's just a shambles down there. I don't know if maybe you've ever driven through the southern coal fields, but I'll just give McDowell County as an example. At the height of its development growth, there were 116,000 people lived in McDowell County. I want to ask you to guess how many are there now. I'll tell you, it's about, less than 12,000 people. So you've got 100,000 people live there. You got the homes they lived in and everything else been abandoned. So you've got a nice home sitting next to another home that had been nice, but now you've got a tree growing through the roof because nobody wanted to sell Granny's house. And it's not just one place, it's like across the coal fields. There's this sort of lack of development and jobs, and the young people have nothing to do. And so we have to bring employment to the coal fields, and we have to do something to help also those folks that are drug addicted that are living down there now, because their problem is pretty bad, and you can't go to work if you don't have it together to stay straight. If you don't have it together to take a shower, if you don't remember putting deodorant on, nobody wants to hire you for a good paying job, right? So you got to get these kids lined up, or young people, and get them brought up to speed on what the appropriate behaviors are for work, and get them, get some employment down there. And I think I can do that in partnership with industries. And we'll just have to see. But if we can get the communities working together, that's the first step. And then also trying to bring in people from outside West Virginia, corporate help, and putting in some jobs that help aim us toward a more profitable, strong future. But the whole thing is getting elected first, because that's the heavy lift, and I hope I can do it. I appreciate your support. Appreciate you coming out today on a nice day and hanging out here with us. And that's it. That's what
And also, when you're thinking about how you can help, it's not always just money. Sometimes it's making a phone call. Sometimes it's coming out to events like this and showing support. The easiest thing that you can do is to tell a friend, talk to somebody about Jim. He has a large district to cover. We're not just talking about Greenbrier County, we're talking about several counties throughout southern West Virginia. So if you have any way or inclination to help, we're here to take your information, and we'll stay in touch about the campaign. Again, thank you all for coming out.
Thanks.